Yo, y'all ready? I said I can't hear you. Y'all ready? I can't hear you. Are you ready? Then everybody put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Put your hands up. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. Let me hear you say yeah. Say hell yeah. Say hola, hola, hola. Come on, say hola, hola, hola. This is how we used to do it back in the days. I want to know something. Y'all know my name? Come on.
I didn't know that DJing was an art form until I got involved with these cats. I had no clue whatsoever that you had to have technical skills, you had to have virtuosity, you had to have a passion and love for what you do.
Coming right at Jam Master J. Alright, and y'all can all jump in if you feel up to it. Would you please tell me or the audience why you are a musician?
When I seen bands playing when I was a young guy, the band was the main attraction, and then a DJ would come along and play a little music in between the bands. Eventually, the DJ became the main attraction. So therefore, he became the band, so therefore, he became the musician. Right now, in the Guitar Center, where they sell instruments at, they sell more turntables than they sell anything in there. So I guess we are musicians.
Are there any correlations between regular type music classes that you could take in school? Piano, sax, drum. Is there any correlations, any similarities?
First off, music is music. So whether you're teaching guitar music or tuba music or DJing, you have to learn the fundamentals of music. You have to know what beats are. You have to know what tempo is. You have to, know what rhythm is.
Yeah, for sure. I got into it by hearing scratches on records. Listening to Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Listening to Premier, listening to Pete Rock and CL Smooth. The Main Ingredient. That album was a huge influence to me. Stuff like that. That's how I really got into it. I would hear cuts, and when I started, I was just cutting. I was just scratching. Then I got into beat juggling later when I saved up enough money to buy a second turntable. At first, I had one turntable. I was just scratching. I couldn't juggle because I had one turntable.
Growing up, my father brought me a guitar. I was taking a couple of lessons with the guitar. I was able to play it a little bit, but once I seen Grandmaster Flash doing his thing in the Armory back in like 79 in Queens somewhere, I was a little kid like, yo, that's what I want to do. That's that guy right there. He don't need nobody to come to band practice. He could do it all by himself. And once when cats are slacking, I'm in there by myself in my underwear, just doing my thing. You know what I mean? I had to, carry crates for the older cats who had equipment and go through, I was 15 years old. I knew how to DJ better than the older guy with the equipment. I used to DJ at this bar. I never would go in the bar. They would bring me in the back door. I would play the music. I wouldn't see who I was playing the music for. I heard it was packed. I heard it was hot. But I was just in the back room playing music, you know what I'm saying, and not seeing nobody. And at the end of the night, like 3 o'clock in the morning, they take me out the back door the same way I came in.
You had to just put your time in the trenches, and there really wasn't anywhere set you could go learn. Yeah, if you were lucky enough to have some good DJs around you, you might be able to. They might be nice enough to teach you some stuff, or you might be able to just to watch them and pick up a little bit here and there. But it was kind of more like trial and error.
Why are y'all so popular today? Why is a DJ
DJs
so
make the world
popular?
go round. That's what I say. You're a DJ. To me, you the DJ when somebody get in your car and you got this CD selections going on. You know what I'm saying? You in control of the music. Once you in control of the music and you controlling the room, the atmosphere, whether it be in your car, in your home, at a wedding, at a bar mitzvah or whatever. You know what I'm saying? You are controlling the music. You are the DJ.
So we're all DJs.
At some point, yeah.
Yeah, one thing that's awesome with DJing, and it's part of the appeal, is that it's really something that we do for ourselves first and foremost. It's like a personal experience. Like all of us here, we chose to be DJs, and that dedication, that discipline is something that we can give ourselves because it's something we chose to do. Before I was a DJ, I played piano for like 5 years. That's something my parents got me into, and they were like, you're gonna play the piano, and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna play the piano. And you go to the courses and you learn the songs one after the other, and it's kind of like a little routine that sometimes you don't really feel like doing. But then when you decide I'm gonna be a DJ, and you go through the whole ordeal of explaining to your parents, like, look, I'm not ruining the needles, let me do this and everything, and you're actually having fun with it, then yeah, you will have that discipline because you're doing something you love, and you learn so much from that, so many values and work ethic and stuff that you can apply to everything in your life afterwards by doing something you love.
Basically, when you do turntablism, it's like there's a certain amount of focus you gotta have with it. It's like to set up your routines, to organize them, to sit down and the discipline it takes to practice these routines. I mean, it's like sometimes it could take like 7 to 8 hours to sit down and actually organize a routine. I mean, to set it up from the start point to the middle point to the kill point. You know what I mean? And also to set it up to the point to where you're not too technical in certain places, to where the crowd will understand you. And, it helped me a lot because, like I said, there was times where I was getting up late for stuff like that. It taught me a lot of discipline to just time myself.
Why are institutions in this country refusing to accept y'all for the art form that you really are?
I just think it's really new. Now when you look at your biggest pop acts like your NSYNCs or your, Barbra Streisand, she didn't have a DJ back in the days, but Britney Spears probably do when you go see her perform. Britney Spears are also doing hip hop moves and dancing where Barbra Streisand probably wouldn't try to spin on her back, I'm just saying, I'm just taking it to the whole other level. You look at the Kid Rocks and the Limp Bizkits, the DJ Lethals, and DJ Cracker from Kid Rock, and you look at the DJs as being a part of the rock and roll bands where Aerosmith and Rolling Stones didn't have a DJ. So what I'm saying is the whole art form is new. So it's gonna take a minute.
Also, think about it. I mean, they didn't want to accept rock and roll when rock and roll came. When swing came, there was some older people that were like, the heck, these kids are dancing, showing their underwear. Hip hop and DJing is popular primarily with the young crowd. So it takes that older generation. Just like I said, when people, when they first saw Elvis on TV, they wouldn't even show him below the waist because they were like, we can't show that. We don't want to accept that. They don't want to accept the music. It's the same thing. It's just another generation pushing back what we're trying to do.
Grandmaster Flash or Bambaataa or, you know, some of these guys that don't even have names today, you know, like Davey DMX, a few people who were really hot to me that really never really got, you know, their name. It was some cats like DJ Smalls and DJ Hollywood and a few DJs that I would just like the way they rocked the party. Like some DJs was exciting on the wheels of steel. Some DJs that after you leave the party, you just feel like, damn, man, the way he put on that record after that record after that record, I just was up all night, you know. So, I mean, you know, you just gotta have the love. You know, it's gonna go in all different directions. He started DJing with CDs, and you know, he's the beat juggler. He's like all types of shit. You know, it's just the way you. It's how you want to go about it. You know.
All right, we're gonna open up the floor for some questions. Think before you ask.
How do you see the digital age influencing the battle DJ?
I think it's gonna create a whole new level of creativity. For example, I can be scratching on my turntable and that's a new prototype that's coming out in about 30 days, but I can be scratching on it and hit a button, and now I'm scratching the same sound, same spot on the CD, same piece of music off the CD, but now I'm putting flange on it, or I'm putting echo on it, or I'm panning my scratch left to right. On top of that, I can like seamlessly loop a portion of the audio. So instead of putting a piece of tape on my records where the needle hits it and it jumps back, I can have it do it seamless for me. So I can just keep scratching at one mark. So it's making certain things, I don't really want to say easier, but it's making it more DJ friendly. And which allows you to now, instead of just maybe beat juggling, I can beat juggle and do effects and do a loop all at the same time. So now, instead of having one layer of creativity, I might have 2 or 3 levels of creativity. For a long time, a lot of vinyl DJs almost saw me as the enemy, because they were like, you know, don't take away my vinyl. It's not about that. I respect vinyl, I love vinyl, I learned on vinyl. I would never forget where I came from. But I also want to make sure that we take our art form as far as we can, and the digital age is going to give us the ability to add more to it.
It's true that with a CD turntable that might be equipped with effects, you might be able to do something like a flange or an echo or a loop. But you know, I think a lot of the turntablists in the room do know that you can also do a flange by playing both records at the same time. You could do an echo with your volume fader, and you could loop a record by putting a sticker, a marker on the record after the groove. So there's also ways of being creative with your vinyl. Personally, I think where this whole digital age might come in handy isn't with these kind of additional effects, but rather with issues like if you have a really rare record that you want to scratch on a song and you can't find it on vinyl, you know, with these new technologies, you can scratch it. Or if there's something that you don't want to bring out to clubs because you have like one copy of the 7-inch and you hunted it down for 7 years and you don't want to wear it out, then you can use it. That's where it comes in handy, in my opinion.
It cuts down a couple of my crates. I'm a wax DJ, you know what I mean? So, and for me I just started playing parties like a year ago, and I'll go to a party and it'll be all middle-aged white people. Jam Master J, hey! Yeah, dude. Walk this way, guy. You gonna play that, right? Listen. Then the next day in the same city, it'll be all 17-year-old ghetto kids, just ghetto. All they want to hear is hip-hop hardcore, you know what I mean? So for me, I have to walk around with like 11 crates. So sometimes I ask the promoter, who's gonna be at the party? I'm telling you, Jay, I know my crowd. And then I get there, they still don't know the crowd. So what I try to do, why I like the CD thing is, I'm cutting down a couple of those crates, and it costs a lot on the plane. They charge you extra for it, so I'm cutting down with a few of my crates, and it's better on my back. But I still bring my wax for sure.
What were your early influences as far as your first stages of DJing, and like what influenced you to the utmost like today?
I could say like my father was my main influence, because my father was a club DJ in the 70s, and he had all the breaks. You know, he had the original joints. He didn't have like
even the SWAT.
Yep, even the SWAT. He had the, you know what I mean? He had the original joint. He didn't have the ultimate breaks and beats, and he was a big influence. Then from him, it just went on to like a lot of other people like Red Alert, and Chuck Chill Out. Then it went to it was Grandmaster Flash, all the good guys, the DXT. It was a whole bunch of them. You know what I mean? So there's so many. There's so many for me. You know what I mean? I can go on and on about that, man. It's just a lot of them.
For me, Jazzy Jeff, Cash Money, Cool Herc. I mean, he wasn't a direct influence on me, but Grand Wizard Theodore, we wouldn't be doing this if it wasn't for him. This guy over here, Jam Master Jay, both back then and now. He inspires me now. The fact that he's still in the game and still on point. Even a lot of the young guys, man. Craze is lighting it up down in Miami. Infamous. I mean, all these guys, all the Scratch Pickles. I mean, there's. Just because I was influenced back then doesn't mean that I don't get influenced now. I mean, that stuff he did up there with that record today, playing the guitar solo, man, I gotta give my man props on that. That was dope. You know what I'm saying? So anytime I see a DJ that's pushing it to the next level, it inspires me to try and do something different with what I'm doing.
My first influences was the DJs I was hearing on records. So like I said, mostly Premier and Pete Rock, because that's the people I was listening to, in '95 when I started. And then a huge influence for me was the first Return of the DJ compilation that Bomb put out. And that had tracks by Babu, Mixmaster Mike, the Scratch Pickles, all those songs. I had the vinyl version of that album, and I used to play the record slowly. I would turn off the platter and play it slow over certain patterns to try to understand how those patterns were made, because I had no idea, what those scratches were. So a lot of everybody that was on that record influenced me. And, then moving on to discovering the rest of the Scratch Pickles, Beat Junkies, and X-Men generation. And then later on, people like the rest of my crew, the Allies. And nowadays, the people that influence me really is whenever I see a DJ do something that I wouldn't have thought of doing, that's an influence in an indirect way. Not because I'll see him and I'll try to copy it, but I'll see him and I'll think, I want to give other DJs that reaction which is, oh, I wouldn't have thought of doing that. So I'll go home and try to come up with something that will make other DJs think that way.
Everybody's my influence.